Hi, Rushrecap here. Today I am going to explain a movie called Cashback. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. After being together for 2.5 years, Ben, an aspiring artist with a quiet, introspective demeanor, finds himself going through a devastating breakup with Susie, his first real girlfriend. Their relationship, once filled with joy and laughter, had started unraveling in subtle, painful ways. Now, it's completely over. The breakup scene is raw and intense. Susie is yelling at Ben, her voice shaking with frustration and anger, throwing accusations and harsh words that cut deep. Ben, stunned and overwhelmed, stands there silently, his heart pounding in his chest. His inability to respond infuriates Susie further, and her yelling escalates into throwing objects. A cup, a book, even a pillow, all in an effort to provoke a reaction from him. Ben doesn't flinch. He simply absorbs the barrage like a statue, his mind racing to understand how things went so wrong. He's supposed to be concentrating on his final year of college, focusing on his art, and preparing for the future he had envisioned. Yet, he's stuck, haunted by the question of why their relationship fell apart. Did he do something wrong? Was it something he said or didn't say? The worst part is seeing Susie during lunch breaks, openly flirting with a new guy. Each shared laugh, every playful touch, feels like a knife twisting in his chest. The possibility that she had been unfaithful looms over him, an unspoken fear he can't shake. His best friend Sean, always eager to offer advice, suggests that Ben needs a rebound to feel better. A temporary distraction to help him move on. But Ben can't take Sean's advice seriously. After all, Sean's own track record with women is a series of misadventures and spectacular failures. In art class, Ben tries to focus, but his thoughts betray him. Instead of sketching the model in front of him, he finds himself drawing a classmate. A beautiful girl whose features seem to capture a sense of grace and serenity that he longs for in his own chaotic life. The teacher notices and scolds him, snapping him back to reality. It's a small moment, but it reinforces Ben's sense of displacement. Living in a student accommodation house with 120 other people his age only adds to his misery. Every night, he hears muffled laughter, loud music, and worst of all, the intimate sounds of others enjoying their lives while he lies awake, staring at the ceiling. On one particularly restless night, he decides to call Susie. His fingers tremble as he dials her number. The phone rings, and when she answers, her groggy voice reminds him that it's the middle of the night. Ignoring the awkwardness, he apologizes, his words tumbling out in a desperate plea for reconciliation. Susie's response is cold and final. She tells him it's over and mentions the new guy, confirming Ben's worst fears. After hanging up, Ben feels hollow, like a part of him has been ripped away. He pulls out an old box of photographs, each picture a painful reminder of their time together. He considers burning them, thinking it might help him move on, but in the end, he can't bring himself to do it. Days turn into weeks, and Ben's sleeplessness becomes a constant. He tries every method he can think of to fall asleep, counting sheep, listening to calming music, even drinking warm milk, but nothing works. The insomnia feels like a punishment, trapping him in a loop of overthinking and regret. To distract himself, he dives into different activities, sketching, reading, watching movies. But no matter what he does, his thoughts always circle back to Susie. One evening, while picking up snacks at the grocery store, Ben notices a sign in the window, now hiring night shift employees. On a whim, he fills out an application. The interview the next day is a blur. His exhaustion makes it hard to focus, but somehow he gets the job. The grocery store becomes his escape, a place where he can channel his sleepless nights into something productive. At the store, Ben meets Sharon, the friendly and welcoming cashier who immediately makes him feel at ease. Her warm smile and kind words are a small but significant comfort. However, not everything about the job is pleasant. Their boss, Jenkins, is a stern and overbearing man who isn't above getting a little too handsy with Sharon. Ben notices this but feels powerless to intervene. The monotony of the job starts to take its toll. Ben finds himself zoning out, his mind wandering as he watches customers shuffle through the aisles. Jenkins scolds him frequently, but Ben can't seem to snap out of his haze. Sharon offers a helpful tip. She covers her watch with tape and avoids looking at the store clock, finding that it makes time feel less oppressive. Ben's other co-workers include Barry, a quirky character who became internet famous for a silly bicycle stunt. Barry now spends his nights zipping around the store on a scooter, adding a touch of chaos to their routine. There's also Matt, who works in the meat section and loves to make inappropriate jokes. Together, Barry and Matt are a mischievous duo, pulling pranks and finding creative ways to entertain themselves during their shifts. 2 weeks into the job, Ben begins to feel trapped in the drudgery of his nightly routine. Desperate for an escape, he starts daydreaming about having the power to freeze time. In his imagination, he walks through the frozen store, free from judgment, able to observe the world at his leisure. The daydreams become increasingly vivid. Ben envisions himself using his time-stopping powers to admire the beauty around him, particularly the women shopping at the store. It's not just about physical attraction. For Ben, it's an artist's appreciation for the human form, a desire to capture fleeting moments of grace and elegance in his sketches. These fantasies also lead Ben to reflect on his past. As a child, his family hosted a foreign exchange student who often walked around the house unclothed. Young Ben was fascinated, not in a lewd way, but with an artist's curiosity about the human body and its complexities. Back in the present, Ben finds himself increasingly drawn to Sharon. Her presence becomes a source of comfort and inspiration, and he starts to develop feelings for her. Ben's growing feelings for Sharon are both a distraction and a solace. Her warmth and kindness cut through the haze of his heartbreak, offering a small beacon of hope in his otherwise monotonous and painful existence. One night, during a quiet shift, Ben and Sharon find themselves alone in the break room. The hum of the vending machines fills the silence as they talk about life, dreams, and frustrations. Sharon opens up about her struggles, her overbearing boss, her dreams of becoming a teacher, and her fear of being stuck in a dead-end job forever. Ben listens intently, feeling a connection he hasn't experienced in a long time. Sharon's vulnerability is disarming, and for the first time, Ben feels understood. He shares his own struggles, including his breakup with Susie, and the toll it's taken on his mental health. Sharon offers words of encouragement, telling him he deserves better and that heartbreak, while painful, often leads to growth. Their conversation lingers in Ben's mind long after the shift ends. He starts to look forward to work, not for the job itself, but for the chance to see Sharon. Her presence becomes a small but powerful motivator, pushing him to take better care of himself. He begins to eat healthier, work out, and even pick up his sketchbook again. But Ben's newfound hope is fragile. The weight of his past still looms large, and his insomnia persists. One particularly restless night, he finds himself scrolling through old photos of Susie on his phone. The memories are bittersweet, a painful reminder of what he's lost. Frustrated and unable to sleep, he decides to sketch. The sketches start as abstract forms but gradually take shape into detailed portraits of Sharon. Her smile, her laugh, the way her hair catches the light. Each detail is meticulously captured in his drawings. It's not just about her physical appearance, it's the essence of her kindness and strength that he tries to immortalize on paper. Meanwhile, life at the grocery store continues to be a mix of monotony and absurdity. Barry and Matt's antics provide occasional comic relief, like the time they turned the meat locker into an impromptu karaoke stage, complete with flashing lights and a speaker blasting 80s hits. Even Jenkins, with his gruff demeanor, becomes a source of unintended humor when he slips on a wet floor and tries to blame it on the weather. Despite the lighter moments, the tension between Jenkins and Sharon grows. Ben notices how Jenkins seems to target Sharon with unnecessary tasks and demeaning comments. One night, he overhears Jenkins making an inappropriate remark to Sharon in the stockroom. Fueled by a mix of anger and protectiveness, Ben confronts Jenkins, demanding that he treat Sharon with respect. The confrontation is intense. Jenkins, unaccustomed to being challenged, tries to intimidate Ben with threats of termination. But Ben stands his ground, his voice steady and firm. Sharon, witnessing the exchange, is both touched and impressed by Ben's courage. The incident solidifies Ben and Sharon's bond. They start spending more time together outside of work, grabbing coffee after shifts, exploring local art galleries, and sharing stories about their lives. For Ben, these moments are a lifeline, pulling him out of the darkness of his heartbreak and reminding him of the beauty and connection life has to offer. As their friendship deepens, Ben begins to wonder if there could be something more between them. But he's hesitant, afraid of rushing into a new relationship and risking another heartbreak. Sharon, too, seems cautious, her own past experiences making her wary of getting too close. One night, during a particularly quiet shift, Sharon asks Ben if he's ever thought about leaving the grocery store and pursuing his art full-time. The question catches Ben off guard. He's spent so much time wallowing in his heartbreak that he's forgotten his dreams and ambitions. Sharon's belief in his talent rekindles a spark in him, and he starts to seriously consider the possibility of turning his passion into a career. Encouraged by Sharon, Ben begins to put together a portfolio of his artwork. He spends his free time sketching, painting, and experimenting with different styles. His insomnia, while still present, becomes less of a burden as he channels his sleepless nights into creativity. The turning point comes when Ben decides to submit his portfolio to a prestigious art competition. The process is nerve-wracking, but Sharon's unwavering support gives him the confidence to take the leap. As they wait for the results, Ben finds himself reflecting on how far he's come since his breakup with Susie. As days turn into weeks, Ben finds himself juggling work, art, and his growing friendship with Sharon. Their bond strengthens as they spend more time together, sharing not only their struggles but also their dreams. Sharon becomes Ben's biggest supporter, encouraging him to keep pushing forward even when self-doubt creeps in. Meanwhile, Ben's insomnia continues to be a challenge, but instead of letting it consume him, he channels it into his art. He begins working on a series of paintings inspired by the people in his life, the co-workers, customers, and most notably Sharon, who have impacted him in ways he never anticipated. Finally, the results of the art competition arrive. Ben hesitates to open the email, afraid of rejection. Sharon stands by his side, urging him to take the leap. When Ben finally clicks on the email, he is overwhelmed with disbelief and joy. His work has been selected as a finalist. The recognition sparks a glimmer of hope he hasn't felt in years. The news spreads quickly among his co-workers. Even Jenkins, begrudgingly, congratulates Ben, though his tone is as gruff as ever. Barry and Matt take it upon themselves to plan a small celebration in the break room, complete with a homemade cake that looks like it was decorated by a 5-year-old. Sharon, however, has something more meaningful in mind. She surprises Ben with a visit to a local art gallery, where she's arranged for him to meet with a curator who could help him further his career. The meeting goes well, and Ben begins to see a tangible path forward for himself as an artist. Despite the positive momentum, Ben still wrestles with his feelings for Sharon. He's grown to care for her deeply, but a lingering fear of rejection and past heartbreak holds him back. One evening, as they sit on a park bench after a long shift, Sharon confronts him. "Ben, you've been different lately," she says, her voice soft but firm. "More confident, more alive. But there's something you're still holding back." "What is it?" Ben hesitates, his heart pounding. He looks at Sharon, the woman who has become his anchor, his muse, his hope. Gathering his courage, he admits, "Sharon, I care about you. More than just as a friend. But I'm scared of ruining what we have, scared of making the same mistakes." Sharon takes his hand, her eyes meeting his. "Ben, we've both been through a lot. But life's too short to let fear keep us from happiness. I care about you too. And maybe we can figure this out together." Their relationship blossoms, but it's not without challenges. Both Ben and Sharon have their insecurities and past wounds to navigate. However, their mutual support and understanding become the foundation of something beautiful. As Ben prepares for the upcoming art exhibition, he pours his soul into his final piece, a painting that captures the essence of his journey. It depicts a vibrant, hopeful landscape, with a lone figure standing on the edge of a new beginning. It's a tribute to his struggles, his growth, and the people who helped him along the way. The night of the exhibition arrives, and Ben is overwhelmed by the turnout. His co-workers, including a surprisingly supportive Jenkins, attend to show their support. Sharon stands proudly by his side, her presence a constant source of reassurance. As Ben's artwork receives praise and admiration, he realizes how far he's come. The pain of his breakup, the monotony of his job, and the sleepless nights have all led him to this moment. He feels a deep sense of gratitude, for Sharon, for his friends, and most importantly, for the strength he found within himself. In the end, Ben's journey isn't just about finding love or success, it's about rediscovering his identity and learning to embrace life's imperfections. His story is a testament to the power of resilience, creativity, and connection. As the exhibition winds down, Ben takes Sharon's hand and whispers, "Thank you for believing in me." Sharon smiles, her eyes shining with pride. "You did it, Ben. You found your way." And with that, Ben steps into the next chapter of his life, ready to face whatever comes his way, no longer defined by his past, but by the limitless possibilities of his future. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating tales. And remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward a brighter future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.